Hey, we're back with our third video of the Getting It Right series. Okay, as you see three pictures, right? And all of these pictures are of the same character. However, we noticed that one picture is giving us details that will help us to figure out what character it is and what is going on, right? So this is what we're going to talk about, the body. So again, this is our third installment, and we're deep diving into the components of an essay. We've already gone over our overview. We've also gone over the introduction, and now it's all about the body, yada. So let's look at our components for our rubric, right? We know that there are 4 parts: focus and organization, development, language, and conventions. Now, language and conventions, you will use those throughout your entire essay. Focus and organization, we talked a little bit about as far as the introduction, because our introduction helps us to focus our whole essay. Now, we're going to talk about how that focus is developed. And it happens in the body, right? It is all about the evidence. It's all about the explanation. It's all about the connections that you made. So when we're talking about development, you have to support what you are saying with textual evidence. You also have to provide insight about the importance and the relevance of your particular textual evidence, your citation. Basically, you're going to tell me what the text says, what does that citation mean, and why does it matter? How does it help to prove your thesis statement or your claim? You may hear me say claim throughout this video, and claim is basically your opinion that you have to prove. That is your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your opinion and why you believe the way that you believe. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 to 3 different ways to look at the structure of the body. This is the first way. This is all about the meal, okay? So remember, your body has to present the evidence, and it has to be presented in a well-written manner. It has to be logical, right? It has to make sense. It has to have this flow. So your very first sentence will be your main idea or topic sentence. What is this particular paragraph about? This information is going to come from your thesis statement. That first point, that first reason that you identified in your thesis, you will turn that into a topic statement for your first body paragraph. Then you will need evidence. You will need quotes, facts, statistics, paraphrases from the text. You will need 2 pieces of textual evidence. 2 pieces of textual evidence. And you will have to give us your analysis of the textual evidence. So every time you give me some evidence, you're going to have to give me your analysis of it. And then your last sentence will be the sentence that's going to link your topic sentence to something else. You're either going to link it back to your thesis statement, or you're going to link it to your next paragraph. You will start it off with a transitional statement. A transitional phrase. That's one way. Another way is to think about the meat, okay? The meat. Now, as you see, I have pulled out the pieces of your Tennessee rubric. Again, we're focusing on the development because the body paragraphs develop your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is your claim. Babies, here's what you need to know. No one can tell you that your claim statement is incorrect. However, we can say that it is illogical because you do not have enough evidence to prove it, okay? So make sure that what you are saying is relevant. Make sure that you properly explain and elaborate on your evidence. Make sure that what you're saying is insightful. What this does is help the reader to understand it helps the reader to know that you understand the topic, you understand the prompt, you understand your task as the writer. Okay, so this is a 4. This is the best. So you got 4, 3, 2, 1. Scoring a 4 is great. And I will show you later in, well, it won't be in this video, but I will actually post in Canvas an example of a well-developed body paragraph. I'm only going to pull one, and I'm going to show that to you. That will be one of your tasks that you will have to go through and identify each of these particular components. The components that I'm talking about are the topic sentence. Again, we talked about the meal, and now I'm showing you the meat. So these are acronyms to help you to write a well-developed body paragraph. So you got to give your main idea sentence, aka your topic sentence. You're going to open, this is your opening sentence. So this will be the first sentence of your body paragraph. You're going to describe your main idea or the point of this particular paragraph. The point must come from your thesis statement. Again, we have to have this flow. So whatever you said in your thesis statement, we should see you developing it throughout your whole body paragraph, your whole entire essay. It needs to be linked. You're going to include a transition from the previous paragraph to the new paragraph. So let's say that you're working on your body paragraph, your second point of your body paragraph. That first word will actually be a transitional word or phrase. It's going to link all of your paragraphs so that we can have this flow. Again, your second thing that you will have will be the evidence. This will be a quote from the text. This quote needs to support what you're saying. We're going to talk a little bit about this later. And then you got to give me your analysis. Remember, analysis is when you break something down to see how it is connected. It is your interpretation. It is your elaboration. It is what you see. So you're going to put this after each piece of evidence. You're going to tell how and why the evidence supports that topic sentence. Again, make these connections clear for the reader. The reader must walk away with some understanding. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And then you're going to have your transitional sentence or your closing sentence. It just depends on which paragraph you're working on. It should be the last sentence of your body paragraph. You can summarize the points of the paragraph and then transition to the next body paragraph. It should be different from your topic sentence. It needs to be different from your topic sentence. Speaking of topic sentences, how do you create a topic sentence for your body? Remember, this sentence is going to introduce one of your reasons from your thesis. So you always need to go back to your thesis. If you do not say it in your thesis, you cannot develop it in your body paragraph. So you need to ask yourself, how does this reason support your thesis? In other words, what are you trying to prove and why? What reason are you trying to prove? Why are you trying to prove it? And how does this prove that your thesis statement is valid? Everything has to connect back to your thesis statement. For example, if I said the chicken crossed the road so that he can get to the other side to return home to his parents, to see his long lost children and his wife, I have to develop that. My first paragraph will talk about how he went home to see his long lost parents. After being gone for 500 years, the chicken found his way home. He was able to return home to his parents. Boom. My next sentence will be, of course, textual evidence, but you're going to have to turn your thesis, turn your points of your thesis into a question. Ask yourself the question. Answer the question. Okay? And then you got the textual evidence in your concrete details. Here's some things that you need to remember about the textual evidence. The textual evidence is necessary to support your thesis, your thoughts about this particular text or whatever text that you're reading. If you do not have any textual evidence, it will make your points invalid. It will make your whole essay erroneous. So you have to provide textual evidence. Providing textual evidence will help you to go back and make sure that your thoughts are accurate, or it is valid, or it is logical. If you cannot support your thesis with 2 or more pieces of evidence, you need to reconsider your thesis. You may need to rework it. You may need to go back in, and you may need to try to look at it from a different angle, maybe reword it. And you're going to have to providing textual evidence, make our answers valid and reliable. And that's what you want. You want me and other people to read it and say, this is valid. You have a point here. You want people to see your thoughts, okay? To the right, I just gave you just some information on citing your text. I know that most of you all are used to saying in the paragraph, it says, we're not doing that. We're in high schoolers. So you're going to use MLA formatting. In other words, you're going to, after you give your quote, in parentheses, you're going to give the author's name and that page number or that paragraph number. Okay? I provided an example for you right here. You see the quote, you see the parentheses, you see the page number right here. It's the same thing. You see the quote, you see the author's name, author's last name, and then the page number right here. So, I did not pull it all the way over. I'm sorry, guys. So, let me fix that while you're on this screen, because I want you guys to be able to see it. So, here's what you're going to have to remember. You're going to find a portion of the text that support your ideas, and then you're going to locate the most important part of that evidence. So go back into the text and see if that piece of text thoroughly supports your idea. Sometimes you may see a word or a phrase from within that piece of evidence that is the most important part of that evidence. You can use that. Also, is there a particular word or phrase, and that's what I'm talking about, is there a particular word or phrase that is essential to your claim? So as you're reading, if you see a word or phrase that connects to your conclusion, you may want to consider using that piece of textual evidence. Remember, guys, I have taught you and I have said to you, reading is all about connections. So as you make connections in your readings, you are able to articulate the connections in your writing. Okay? Alrighty, sweethearts, where were we? So let's talk about explain and elaborate. Explaining and elaborating is the so what. It's what do your details prove? It's kind of like having a conversation with someone and they're bringing you the tea and you're like, okay, so what does that prove? What does that mean? Why should I care? No, he didn't. Well, why did he say that? That's basically what we're asking you to do. It's where you provide your reader and your audience, with the details and the relevant information so that we can understand what you're saying. So to explain is to make something clear. You're going to describe it. You're going to give more details. You're going to reveal the relevant facts or ideas. And relevant means the important. So you're going to give the important facts, the important ideas. Think about it like this. You're breaking down this information into small bites to someone who is much younger than you. You got to keep it simple. You got to keep it straight and to the point. And then you want to back it up with a metaphor, an analogy, or a simile. Or you can use any form of figurative language to help your reader make the connections that they need to make so that they can understand what you're saying. Because what you're saying is important. What you are saying matter. We want to know what you're saying. We want to understand what you're saying. We want to hear you. The way that you do it is by explaining, elaborating, writing incomplete sentences so that we can walk away in awe of what you wrote, in awe of what you said. So here's the actual breakdown of that paragraph. Your body paragraphs should have about 8 sentences. 8 sentences. Because you got your topic, you got your first piece of evidence, you got your interpretation and your analysis of it, and then you're going to give me another analysis. Remember, this is where I said that you can give the figurative language and so forth, because you want to make it clear. Then you're going to give me a second piece of evidence, and then you're going to give me your analysis of that second piece of evidence. What does it show? What does it prove? And then you're going to give me your second interpretation, and then you're going to conclude it, or you're going to transition. Okay? All right. So, excuse me. In our second video, the one that talked about the introduction, you had a task to read Harrison Bergeron and to write an introduction paragraph. Now you're going to pick up where you left off. So you're going to use your introduction paragraph. You're going to use your thesis sentence in your introduction paragraph to continue writing. Now you're going to write 2 body paragraphs to the same prompt. So how do you succeed? You're going to go back to your introduction. You're going to look at that last sentence, which should be your thesis statement, which should be the answer to this prompt. In other words, if I'm asking you to write an essay that identifies the author's attitude towards total state control, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, what is the author's attitude to total state control? Right? Then that's your answer. The author's attitude towards total state control is. Then you're going to have to ask yourself, how does this attitude influenced his portrayal of Harrison Bergeron. Okay? Let's see. This attitude of blank influences Bergeron's portrayal of this attitude, or the attitude of blank influences his portrayal of Bergeron by, and then you're going to tell me, what did you see? What did you notice? You should have 2 points. 1 point, 2 points. First point will be your first body paragraph. Second point will be your second body paragraph. Okay? All right. So good luck, good luck, good luck. Remember, each body paragraph needs to have at least 8 sentences.